Hey everybody, welcome back for another memory keeping plan with me. This week it is March 13th through the 19th that we are memory keeping for, and I am using a wedding kit. I did not go to a wedding this week. I was going to use this kit back in January, the week before our wedding, because we did get married near the beach, and the plan was to go to the beach nearby. It was like a less than 5-minute drive away from our venue because we got married in San Clemente, California, and we were going to take pictures during our cocktail hour. That did not happen because it absolutely poured rain on our wedding day. We took the photos that we could take around our reception venue, which luckily was planned to be inside, and did some umbrella photos. And then our photographer suggested that we go to the beach on a different day, which was very generous of her to offer her time in that way. They didn't charge us extra for that, which was incredible of them to do. They genuinely wanted to make it up to us in some way, even though it was no fault of their own, which big shout out to Studio Lviv Photography in Chino Hills. So that's what we did this week. We did go to the beach near our wedding venue and took a bunch of photos, and honestly, it's probably a blessing in disguise that we couldn't go to the beach on our wedding day, because in the schedule I was being a little unrealistic and thinking, oh yeah, we can do family photos for 20 minutes and then go to the beach for 20 minutes and then get back to the reception on time. I don't know that it actually would have worked out. So we got maybe an hour and a half with our photographers this day, which we would not have had time to do on wedding day because we didn't want to go down there before our first look anyway, or before the ceremony, because we didn't want to get my dress all dirty. Which is so funny because I feel like the beach did not get my dress dirty as much as stomping around in the rain on wedding day did, which is interesting. So yeah, that is why I'm using a wedding kit this week, because this one definitely reminds me of San Clemente, of Southern California in general. My favorite thing about living in Southern California is the beach. So the fact that we could have our wedding anywhere nearly remotely close to the beach was awesome. I don't like a lot of things about Southern California, but I do like that. So I'm glad that we got some beach photos. It was still overcast this day though, because you'll see, I'll mark this multiple times this week. It rained 3 days this week. And so looking at the forecast, all of us were like, oh no, is it gonna rain on Saturday again? Because it took a little bit of effort to get this makeup photo date scheduled, because it had to work with our photographers, who of course are still shooting weddings this time of year. And then I also wanted to stick with my same hair and makeup person. And of course she's got a different schedule of weddings than the photographers. So it took a while to nail this date down. So if we had to reschedule it again for rain, I probably would have given up, honestly, or been like, you know what, we'll just do it next year. I did want to do it still close to our wedding day, just where we're still in that newlywed stage, even though at this point we'd already been married for 2 months, but that's still newlywed status to me. This year has gone by so quickly so far that it feels like our wedding was just yesterday, even though it was 3.5 months ago. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to make sure it was still somewhat close to our wedding. I didn't want to wait until the summer or something, because it just wouldn't have felt the same. And also, I really like springtime down here. Ideally, I would have had a springtime wedding, but it just doesn't work with our schedule. And also, it's more expensive to have a springtime wedding. So did not do that. But near the beach, lots of flowers were in bloom and everything. Everything was very green because we had gotten rained on so much. So that was kind of nice. It wouldn't have looked like that in January necessarily, because while it was very wet in January, things hadn't had a chance to spring up yet. So it was kind of nice to go out there in March and have everything be very green, because then now it's warming up and everything's about to die in about 2 seconds from now. We had the poppy bloom and the wildflower bloom for 5 minutes down here, because it finally stopped raining enough that the flowers could spring up, and then now it's gonna get hot. So now all the flowers are gonna die. Spring is extremely short down here. Anyway, I also brought in some foil this week. I'm just blabbering on, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I brought in some Plana Hannah quotes from some sparkly hollow full box samplers that I had, some freebies that she gave. So I used Forever Yours, because that's one that I used in my wedding plan with me. And then there was this one from, I think it was Mick Plans' freebie. It says, keep the ones that hear you when you never said a word. I was feeling very grateful for all the people I worked with on our wedding and my husband, of course. So I thought that quote felt appropriate. And then I used a twinkle foil bundle from SPC that has since been retired. It is mixed metal, which is very similar to what I used for our wedding week, but this one I think was sparkly hollow and champagne lights. I can't remember colors. So I used the full box overlays. There were only 6 because this must have been like a mystery kit foil bundle that was overstocked. So that's why there were only 3 sheets of the full box overlays. And then I used the bottom washi and the header overlays as well. So it kind of was reminiscent of our wedding. Oh, I'm about to like totally tear up the ink on that bottom washi, but it worked out in the end. It kind of was reminiscent of our wedding where I did mixed metal, twinkle, foil, but just a little bit different. I kept debating whether or not this foil color bundle went with this kit, and it turns out it really does. It looks really nice with it. So you're gonna get a lot of wiggles because this is super sparkly. All right, let's just get into the day by day. Later on, you'll see me pull in some photos into the sidebar. This was still the week. The first half of the week, we were still getting over COVID. So luckily we got better and went through the whole isolation process before we had our photo shoot. Luckily we were good to go there. But that meant that there was really nothing to mark in the sidebar because I was not keeping track of my habits. I wasn't doing my habits. So I have a dinners sidebar there, but I'm also going to bring in some photos that I printed from our wedding photo shoot, from our beach wedding photo shoot, our post-wedding photo shoot, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, I wish we could normalize doing your couples portraits on a different day than the actual wedding because you have so much less pressure. I know for some people it's very common to do a bridal photo shoot, like just the bride before the wedding, but I didn't really want that many photos of just myself. We got a few, like the photographer insisted on taking a couple of just me and a couple of just my husband, but for the most part I think I want photos of the 2 of us. So I know people do that individually, but I want to normalize like doing couples photo shoots for your wedding, like on a different day. Obviously, your photographer has to be down. They might charge you for an extra photo shoot. You got to get hair and makeup done all over again. But I didn't want to be pulled away from my wedding so much for photos. I know some people will do like sunset photos during the reception. We didn't do that because, again, it was raining and the sun went down at 5 o'clock, which is when our reception started. So there was no way we were going to do that anyway. Our venue always scheduled ceremonies like an hour and a half before sunset so that ideally during cocktail hour you're doing your sunset portraits. But anyway, so I hear people talking about like getting pulled from their reception and wanting to get pulled from the reception just to take photos, and like that's not me at all. I hosted this event, I paid for this event. I want to enjoy the actual event at some point. So yeah. Let's make it a thing. Let's like do our couples photo shoots on a different day so that you can actually enjoy your wedding. I don't know. That's just me. Monday has passed us by already. I'm just going on about rants about weddings. Monday I was still feeling a little congested, so that sneezing girl is from Beneva Creations. It's a freebie, so that's why it's blonde. I am not blonde. I was able to just like get back to my normal work routine this week though because I was feeling a lot better. So I graded a bunch of papers, that stickers from Once More With Love, but we were having internet issues this day for some reason. So I used another Once More With Love munchkin where the desk is all on fire around them because the internet was not cooperating this day. And then I used a heart from the foil bundle to mark that I was feeling better, because for the most part I was feeling a lot better. And then we lied in bed all together, me, my husband, and the cat. So I have a Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. that's snoozing and being all happy about snoozing. And then I was watching a bunch of old Planet Hannah videos because I don't think I subscribed to Planet Hannah until like late 2021. And I realized that she had been posting Plan With Me's before then, and I was running out of stuff to watch on the internet. So when I run out of stuff to watch, I go back. If I'm subscribed to you on YouTube, I do this, okay? Sorry if it creeps you out. I go back, way back on your channel, and I watch anything that I didn't watch before. So that's what I did with Planet Hannah this day. Now I'm caught up. Tuesday was our 2 months of being married, so I have these leftover stickers from J'adore Planning that was supposed to be a wedding countdown, but I didn't buy it until like a month before the wedding, so I just used all the ones for the weeks and the days. So I'm going to use all of the ones for the months. I'm going to use them to count up with our months of marriage. So this day, it was 2 months of being married. It was also 2 months till my birthday. So I'm going to mark that with some champagne glasses, clinking from, or they're not really champagne glasses, they're clinking glasses from the foil bundle. I didn't mean to have my wedding anniversary be the same date or the same like number as my birthday. It just kind of happened that way, but I think it's kind of funny. So we were 2 months married, and then it was 2 months until my birthday. So we were counting up and counting down this day, or at least I was. Oh yeah, I also pulled in the peach extra color that came as a freebie with this kit because the peach was what reminded me the most of our wedding. We had some peach flowers incorporated here and there. It wasn't like a main color, but it was definitely an accent color. There is no one wedding kit out there that represented my wedding colors, unfortunately, but that's okay. So I put it on this hexagon shape. I tried to use, I think there were only like 2 hexagon shapes in this kit, but I tried to use that because it went along with the arch that's on Saturday and Sunday. You can't see it right now because it's covered with all my character stickers. There we go, now you can see the arch. So I wanted to pull in the hexagons. We did have a hexagon arch at our wedding. Didn't plan on it, but we also had planned to get married outside at their like little pergola garden cute thing, and then we had to move it inside. So then we had a hexagon arch at the last minute because we needed something to attach the little bouquets I had prepped for the sconces on the pergola. I am feeling a lot better about how our wedding looked. Like, we're now like 3.5 months later. I have my days where I'm still sad that we didn't get married outside because like the outdoors means a lot to me and to my husband, but I'm getting better about it, especially as I'm starting to put together like photo albums for our families and like really curating our photos and putting all that together. Like, I'm feeling better about it the more distance I get from the day and how kind of stressful it was. I tried to not stress myself out too much, and then things just kept like changing and happening. So I probably wasn't the most chill bride, but that's why like once we got to dinner on our wedding day, I didn't want to be like posing anymore. I didn't want to be like having any responsibilities anymore. I'm like, I read my vows. I did the performative thing. I cried a lot in front of everybody. We did our first dance. Like, I'm not saying that's how everybody has to feel, but at some point with the wedding, I was just like, can I just like chill now? Oh no, wait, I'm the bride at this thing. I have work to do. It's not work, but like you have things that you said you were gonna do, and then like you get to the day and you're like, okay, yeah, I guess we'll do it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, but I feel like if you've had a wedding, you understand what I'm talking about. Like, you kind of just get dragged in all these different directions. Anyway, I marked with an asterisk from the foil bundle that I had a lingering cough and a lot of postnasal drip from COVID this day. That lasted, the postnasal drip mostly, that lasted for like another week or so, I think. I stopped tracking my symptoms after this day because like they weren't as severe anymore, so that was really nice. And then I am using the half-cut headers from the foil bundle behind the labels on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, because again, I only had 3 sheets of these, so I couldn't do it every single day. I met with all of my half of my students this day for class, so I put in a teacher Molly. I was doing one-on-one meetings this day, and I was doing those through Zoom because I still needed to complete my COVID isolation since I tested positive. So I was doing that, and I was still testing positive this day. And then it rained this day, so I have a Molly Loves Rainy Days sticker from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And this was the day of the Passion Planner Pie Day sale. So passion planners or select passion planners were $3.14 this day in honor of Pie Day, which I thought was very funny. So I picked up 3 of them. I picked up an undated one for myself, a dated one for my husband that I don't think he has used yet, and it's almost the end of April. And then we also picked up one for his sister, because I know she loves that brand. So I used a credit card icon from the foil bundle. And then my husband had been feeling a lot better because he took antiviral medication because he was prescribed it. And then I was feeling almost fine this day, but he started kind of having a little bit of a relapse this day. I think he took a half day at work because he had gone back to work a few days before. So I think he had to take a half day this day. It was either this day or the next day, I don't remember, because he was just really exhausted and not feeling great. So I'm going to mark that with a sick day Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. once I get to it. But I have to figure out all of the half-cut header situation here. And then I thought this was really sweet. Nathan's family friend, I feel like she kind of functions as like a young aunt. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a whole um, friend, but friends who are family, basically, type of situation. So she texted Nathan this day with the video that she took of our first dance. She like recorded the first couple minutes of it, which was so cute to get because it was our 2 month married mark. So I used a dancing munchkin from Once More with Love because I loved watching that. She had already sent us a couple of the photos that she took like later in the dance because after she stopped the video, she took a couple pictures. And obviously iPhone video and iPhone photo like isn't always the best quality. Like the photo and video we got from our photographers and videographers is better quality, but I feel like wedding guests get better angles sometimes because like maybe it's just like my style. I think it looks better from that angle. Whereas sometimes the photographers and videographers get like an angle that I'm like, I don't know if I love that angle. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, I'm glad to have both, so I really enjoyed that people sent us their photos and videos. Although I had a QR code disaster with our wedding. I set up a QR code and then didn't realize like it was going to expire after a day because nowhere, anywhere did it say that was going to happen. And I had a sign at our wedding saying, here's a QR code to our Google Photos album, upload your stuff. And like people tried to scan it and then I got emails the next day because I didn't check my email on my wedding day, obviously. But I looked at my email the next day and it's like, people tried to scan it, but your code expired. I'm like, no one told me this. So then I had to like send out an email, and only a few people actually shared their photos with us because there were a lot of people taking photos on their iPhones. And my rule is that's totally fine with me. I didn't mind if people took photos and videos on their iPhones. But my rule is you got to share it with me. Okay? Cuz like what are we you got to share that stuff with me. It was our wedding. I would like to see the stuff that you took, you know? Anyway, end of Tuesday was spent in bed watching YouTube videos. So I used a YouTube icon from the foil bundle. Wednesday was 10 days since my COVID symptoms started, so I could exit isolation at this point, especially if I was feeling better. So I used a Molly Gets Vaccinated sticker from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. I was really tired this day. I think it was because I talked to about like 50 students the day before via Zoom. It's kind of exhausting. So I marked that with a tired Molly. I forget exactly what that sheet's called from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. I did some grading, so I have another grading munchkin from Once More with Love, and then I think the day before, I didn't mark this, but I had done my base coat for my nail polish because I wanted to have the same nail polish that I had for my wedding day for our photos on Saturday. So I did do the first coat of color on this day. So I used like the manicure icon from the Scribble Prints Co foil bundle, and then it also rained this day, so the forecast was looking good for Saturday, but we caught like that break in the rain. So I think I like interrupted myself earlier when I was talking about this, but yeah, it didn't rain on Saturday, thank goodness. So we could totally take photos and the weather is actually perfect, but we didn't have like bright sunny skies. So even our beach photos are a little like gloomy overcast sky, but honestly, we love gloomy overcast skies, even if it doesn't always make the perfect photographs. So there you go. We're always complaining that it doesn't rain enough here and it's not cloudy enough here. And so we brought Southern California 2023 upon ourselves. All right, Thursday I was also still very tired, so I have another tired Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co., but I proceeded to meet with the other half of my students by Zoom this day for their one-on-one meetings. So I have another teacher Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And then I did my second coat of color on my nails, so I'm going to pull in the other manicure icon in the foil bundle, the circle icon. Not a lot going on Wednesday or Thursday, just a lot of work. So taking some time to mark all of that. I was still trying to figure out like how I was gonna use all of the different colors in this kit and like mix them up in a nice way. Can take a little bit of a breather here. With the foil bundle, I kept thinking like, oh, should I do all of the overlays on the washi? Should I do all of the header overlays? And then once I laid it all down, I was like, yeah, this looks good. That is not too much foil. I decided to use foil this week, both because I just really like this kit and I thought the foil looked nice with it, but also because it was kind of like a special week with our post-wedding photo shoot, and also it was the week that we beat COVID, so that's kind of exciting that we got over COVID this week. Okay, end of Thursday. I was really itching for some sort of dessert, and we could leave the house at this point. We still wore our masks in the drive-thru, but anyway, we went to McDonald's, went through the drive-thru, and got an apple pie and some hot cocoa because I was just itching for something sweet at this point, and we were starting to run out of food in our house, and we didn't have time to go grocery shopping. So I was like, hey, Nathan, you want to go to McDonald's? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, thank goodness. So I have a Molly Loves Hot Cocoa sticker from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. So we got hot chocolates and apple pies, and it was tasty. I love McDonald's like snack type foods. And then the end of the day, we watched The Mandalorian new episode that came out the day before, and Game Grumps and Mythical Kitchen on YouTube. So I just have a Cinderella paper TV stand icon for that. Friday, I marked that my husband was off work because he gets every other Friday off, so I just put in a bow icon from the foil bundle because I didn't really have anything else to mark that with. And then our cat had to have an echocardiogram this day, so it was also a good thing that we didn't have COVID anymore. We timed it just right. The week that we didn't have to go anywhere was when we got sick. Kind of glad it worked out that way. But anyway, back in January, we took our cat for her annual checkup, and our vet said that she detected a slight heart murmur, so we scheduled a very expensive appointment with a cat cardiologist. Well, I don't think he specifically for cats. I think my husband said there were dogs there too, but a veterinary cardiologist. So my husband took the cat there, so I have a Molly Goes to the Vet sticker for that, and they said things were pretty much normal. Also, everyone always praises our cat for being an angel at the vet. Like, she's terrified. That's why she's being an angel. She doesn't enjoy this at all, but like she just kind of like freezes and lets them do whatever, and she's purring to like self-soothe, which is so sad, but like everyone always is just like, oh my God, she's so good because she doesn't fight them. She doesn't bite them or anything or scratch them. She doesn't struggle. She just kind of puts up with it. And I'm like, I feel so bad for my cat, but like, thank you for behaving yourself. So anyway, they had to shave like 2 patches on her chest. It's grown back now, but it looked kind of funny for a little bit. She just had these 2 bald patches on her chest. But yeah, apparently things are pretty normal. She has something that I do not remember the name of, but basically she's got like a tiny bit of blood that goes back up through the valve when normally it should just go out. I forget what it's called. But apparently that's very normal in cats. And so we just need to keep track as she gets older, like if she starts acting weird or she seems really fatigued or anything like that, because then we would need to deal with it. So we know what's going on at this point. Again, I cannot for the life of me remember what it was called. Something very medical, but I guess she's okay for now. I mean, she acts perfectly normal, so we just need to keep an eye out on that. So very expensive sonogram of our cat's heart. Also, it was good that we did that because then she needs to get a dental cleaning, and in order to go under anesthesia, we had to get that checked out because it could be dangerous if she had some sort of heart issue and they put her under anesthesia, obviously. I'm nervous about the cat dental cleaning. I just scheduled it because anytime anybody goes under anesthesia, I get very nervous. But hopefully everything will be okay. We have to go get blood work done for her to get her teeth cleaned before. So lots of cat vet appointments, but every vet is always just like, she's so great. She's so sweet. I'm like, yeah, she's terrified. But I'm glad she's nice to you. Anyway, while my husband was taking care of that with the cat, I was lesson planning and grading, and then our photographers sent more reception photos this day. So I had asked them to double check for some reception photos because I felt like there should be a lot more from the dance floor that evening. So they went back and checked, and they sent me a lot more dancing photos, which I'm really happy with because like there's lots more photos. Even if they're not like great photos, like they're not the most flattering or they're not like the best perfect lighting, like I'm fine with that. Like I want the photos of me dancing with my brother spontaneously, multiple of my brothers actually. I want the photos of me dancing spontaneously with my sister, right? Because especially at the beginning of our dance floor, like people were not taking photos on their phone, they were just like having a good time. So I'm glad that they obliged me and sent more reception photos, because we didn't have our photographer or videographer stay the entire wedding. So after that point, I only had like iPhone or yeah, iPhone photos. That was later in the evening. Anyway, so I marked that with the camera icon from the foil bundle, and then I tweezed my brows because I was going to get photos taken the next day, so I used the face mask icon from the foil bundle. I feel like I need to get tweezer stickers or eyebrow stickers, because trust me, I gotta take care of my brows. They will go nuts if I don't manage them. I joke that we're not interested in having human children right now, but my husband and I both have really thick eyebrows and really long eyelashes. And I'm like, if we had a biological child, I feel like they would just have like the strongest brows and the longest eyelashes of all time. It would be ridiculous. Anyway, then I steamed my wedding dress and my veil, although my veil was kind of a lost cause at this point. I spent very little money on my veil, and I feel like it got wrinkled at some point, and just have never been able to get the wrinkles out. For some reason, my dress, which was also pretty inexpensive, I can steam the wrinkles out of that really easily, but the veil is just a lost cause at this point. But oh well. Didn't wear the veil for that long anyway, so I guess it didn't matter. Kind of, except there were a few photos where I'm like, that looks really wrinkled. Oopsies. So maybe spend a little bit more on your veil. I just didn't want to. Anyway, I used a paper shower wedding couple for steaming the dress and the veil, and then we played Mario Party Superstars again this evening, and I won again, so I just have a little mystery box icon from an old Mario sampler from a shop that I don't remember the name of. Okay, Saturday, fun day. So Saturday marked 2 months till we're going to my brother's graduation. So I'm going to put in a car icon from the foil bundle. And then I frantically did my top coat for my nails because I guess I forgot to do it on Friday. So I'm going to use a little nail polish bottle. I think it's from Scribble Prints Co. It was sunny and 75 this day, at least where we live in northern Orange County. That meant on the beach it was still kind of overcast, because just because it's sunny here, we live inland, doesn't mean it's going to be super sunny on the coast, but it was sunny and 75 where we lived. It was like the break in the rain. So I used a Molly weather icon for that, and then I had hair and makeup done, same person that I had for my wedding. So I used the hair appointment sticker from Once More With Love from the wedding sheet, because I didn't use it the day of my wedding for some reason. I don't know, because I didn't really consider it a hair appointment. Whatever. I used that and a lipstick icon that was blue from Planet Hannah. I had this left over from a sampler, so I'm like, it matches this kit, let's use it. So that was to mark hair and makeup. And then we went out to San Clemente, to Calafia Beach, and there was another bride taking photos when we got there, so we let them finish up. And she was so sweet. And I don't know if she was getting married at our venue or another venue in San Clemente, because there's a lot actually. But she was very nice, and like lots of other people at the beach were wishing us congratulations. I'm like, thanks. In my head, I'm like, we've already been married for 2 months. It's not our wedding day, but thank you. So that was cute. So I'm gonna mark that with like a happy couple from Once More With Love, to mark so many congratulations from people. And then we took our own photos at the beach. So there's like, I don't know if you call them like dunes or just like cliffs. I don't know. I'm going to attach some photos at the end. What is this, an email? I'm going to include some photos from our shoot at the end of this video so you can see what I'm talking about. But like, there's these beautiful cliffs that you can take photos in front of. And then there's like a nice trail with all of like the greenery, even though like a lot of it's just like wildflowers, and some of it's ice plant, which is not native to California. So you associate it with the California coastline, but it's not supposed to be here. It's actually invasive. And then we took some on the actual beach itself with like the ocean in the background. So I really loved getting these photos done. It was a lot easier to relax and be happy in these photos because we weren't involved with a big event this day. We could just focus on taking photos. And then of course we got the photos back a few weeks later, and I love that we were able to get these outdoor photos. So I'm marking that with a take photos script from I think it's from the wedding guest sheet from Scribble Prints Co. And then I had a custom script from Planet Hannah for Calafia Beach on my event sheet, but obviously I didn't use it the day of the wedding because we didn't go to the beach. And then I have a Paper Shire wedding couple to mark our actual photo shoot. And then there's a fork and knife at the end of the day. I was gonna mark two things, but then I totally ran out of space. We tried to go to Chipotle because by the time we were done, it was like almost 8 o'clock, which is wild because we met up at 5:30. But they were closed for a gas leak. And so we're like, okay, what do we do now? So we ended up going to a place called Clyde's, going through the drive-thru. It took forever. We were getting hangry at this point. This was like the first time we'd really left the house in almost 2 weeks. So we got our food eventually, but I don't think we ate dinner until 9 o'clock. So anyway, I just marked that with a fork and knife. And then Sunday, I paid my hair and makeup lady because she's always been super nice to me and let me pay after she completes the services, which is kind of wild to me. She trusts me, I guess. So I paid her this day, marked that with a dollar icon from the foil bundle. I also sent her some photos from the wedding day. That reminds me, I need to send her the beach photos because she asked to see them. I think we did my hair a little better this time because I had like a lot of loose pieces out of my bun on wedding day and they just fell out. My hair does not hold a curl. So we did like fewer pieces out this time and I think it turned out a lot better. Even then, the curls still fell out. My hair just does not want to stay curled. I played with my cat this day, so I have a mouse icon from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. and a Play with Evie custom script from Carly Plans. I did grade a couple papers this day just to keep myself on track to get them back to my students on time. I've been doing a lot of grading on the weekend. The weekend that I'm recording this voiceover though, I gave myself like a 3-day weekend from grading because I finished stuff on time and a lot of my students asked for extensions on their next paper. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a few days off of grading before we hit the home stretch of finals week. It also rained this day, so we just beat the rain on Saturday to get our photos done. So it did rain on Sunday, so we fit this all in. January, February, March, so much more rain than usual. And then April, I feel like we haven't had any rain. We'll see when we do those memory keeping plan with these. And then we're heading into May, and there's supposed to be rain next week, which is kind of funny. So yeah, just a lot more rain than usual. And like Yosemite's closed this weekend because the snow cap or the snowpack is melting. I think Sequoia's closed too because it's about to like flood potentially all through there. It's been a wild winter out here, but I welcome it, even though it kind of made my wedding day more stressful because technically we're out of a drought right now. We will probably be back in a drought not too shortly after this, I'm going to be honest. So hopefully we don't, squander our water resources. People get kind of lazy when it comes to saving water because out here, because even though we don't have any water, because like they're like, oh, well now we have water, so let's just use it. I'm like, that's not a good long-term solution, but okay. Anyway, it rained on Sunday, and I go on a rant. Then I was feeling antsy this day because I hadn't moved a whole lot the last 2 weeks on account of being ill, so I did a bunch of squats and push-ups, so I marked that with a workout icon from Scribble Prints Co. And then I sealed up all of our wedding thank you notes. If you remember from a couple weeks ago, I finished actually writing them. I didn't want to seal them because I didn't want to lick a bunch of envelopes while I had COVID. Just didn't seem like a great idea. I don't know. I was just taking the extra careful route here. Obviously, I think we know at this point the virus doesn't last on surfaces for more than like a few days. So it would have been fine, but like I just waited. Sorry, I hit the microphone. I just waited until this day to seal them up once I knew I didn't have COVID anymore. So I used an envelope from the foil bundle to mark that, and I put it on a shape. And then this evening we watched the Try Guys Phoning It In series on YouTube and Game Grumps on YouTube, so I have another Cinderella paper television stand icon for that. And of course now you can see I'm fitting in pretty much all of the deco. There were a couple of pieces of deco that I didn't use. Forgot to mention this, the full box, it says something about like, as the ocean has no end, so does my love for you. There's a reason that's on the inside of that extender full box. The quote made no sense to me. I think I would know, I teach English. I thought it was a weird quote, so I had to have a full box on the inside of that Tuesday extender box, but this quote about the ocean it made very little sense to me, so I didn't use the deco piece for that, it was also like a really big piece of deco, so it wouldn't have fit anywhere anyway. And then I'm putting in some of the twinkle foil bits from the foil bundle just to fill in a little bit more space. I like doing this when I have the deco available because I think it just like adds an extra touch. So even though it's really hard with the press-on nails that I've got on in this video, I picked up a bunch of the little foil bits. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see the original print I did for some 2x3 photos, and then I realized that's not the size I needed. I needed to do half of a 2x3 in order for the photos to fit in the sidebar. I just printed these on our printer. We have an Epson photo printer now, and it does really nice prints. So I am not using my HP Sprocket for this, which would have been, it's way easier to use the Sprocket, but my iPhone storage is full right now because of all the wedding stuff I've got on there right now. So I don't have room for the Sprocket app. So I just printed things on photo paper on our regular Epson printer, and it turned out really nice. So I sized down a couple of photos that I can put in the sidebar to take up space, and now you can see what's left of the kit. So I saved the bridesmaids boxes. I considered saving this kit for my husband's cousin's wedding in July because it's going to be near Newport and like there's going to be a beach day and all of that, but I really wanted to use it for ourselves because I had already planned to use it for ourselves. So I think how I'm going to remedy that is use the bridesmaids boxes with the kit that I'm planning to use for his cousin's wedding, just to kind of get a little bit of that beach vibe, but like the reception itself isn't at the beach, but there's like a beach day the day after, I think. We still need to RSVP for that, I just remembered. Yeah, but that's the full week. I wrote everything in so you can see how it looks. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think it's beautiful, especially with the extra foil I was able to put in, and I'm really happy that we were able to finally get to the beach after our wedding to take some really cute photos. I'm a really outdoorsy person, so I'm really glad that we got some photos outdoors that weren't just at our wedding venue. So thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble. Here are a few photos that we got at the beach, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. So I hope you have a good day. Bye!